Over the past 3 years, there have been a ton of people moving from places like BC and Ontario. And I thought to myself, why are people moving from Canada's most popular cities to Lethbridge, Alberta, a city of just 100,000 people? Well, today we're exploring why so many people from across Canada are packing up and moving to Lethbridge. The numbers are impressive. Interprovincial migration to Alberta has been skyrocketing, and a significant portion of these new residents are landing right here in Lethbridge as their destination. Let's start with one of the biggest problems that's driving up a lot of this immigration, and that's affordability, or rather the lack of affordability. And in Canada's biggest cities, this is no exception. Cities like Vancouver and Toronto have seen housing prices soar to unimaginable heights. I mean, in Vancouver in 2024, the average home price is down a whopping 2%, but the average price is still well over $2 million for a detached home. And in Toronto, you're looking a little bit more affordable at $1.4 million. And there's so many Canadians, especially young professionals and families, first-time home buyers especially, that are finding themselves priced out of the market and they're just unable to afford property. And it's tough to save up for that down payment. I mean, I get it. I mean, how could anyone afford to buy a $2 million or $1.4 million house as your first home? And I think people are starting to realize that if they want a shot at home ownership without being crushed by debt, they need to start looking elsewhere. And Calgary used to be that alternative, but now even Calgary's market is heating up pretty significantly. Now this is where Lethbridge comes in, because for the price of a studio apartment in Vancouver, or even just a modest townhome in Calgary, for example, you can own a spacious detached home here in Lethbridge with a garage and a backyard and some room to breathe. Home prices here in Lethbridge are significantly lower than most of Alberta's biggest cities, actually all of Alberta's biggest cities, and they're even cheaper than probably almost any other major city in Canada, with our average home price being around $405,000. I could see this coming down a little bit because this was taken just a couple months ago at the peak of our market, and when it's all said and done throughout the year, I could see our average home price being closer to $385,000, which is what it's historically been over the last 12-month average. For years, actually, the average home price was closer to $350,000, but with all this interprovincial migration that I was talking about earlier, our housing prices have really started to see some big gains recently. People are buying homes here without actually breaking the bank, and they're finding that they don't need to sacrifice that quality of life to do it. It's almost like going back in time to when home ownership was actually attainable. Now, before I talk about how cheap our taxes are here in Alberta and some other financial benefits, if you've already decided that Lethbridge is the place for you, down below is a link to sign up for auto email listings. Basically, how this works is you type in your desired criteria and you will get an email of all the available listings that are currently on the market. And anytime a new listing hits, you're going to get an email directly so that you never miss one. Now, let's get back to the video. And it's not just housing that's bringing people to Alberta. I mean, if you've ever heard that saying that there are two certainties in life, death and taxes, well, the good news is that in Alberta in general, we are the least taxed. We have a 5% GST and we don't have an HST or a PST. And get this, there's even no land transfer tax, which is absolutely huge. And every dollar saved on those taxes can go towards building a better life. In provinces like Ontario and British Columbia, you're often hit with that high land transfer tax and some other fees that are going to add up pretty quickly. But in Lethbridge, you can hold on to more of your money that you've been working so hard for to save up. And all of this is going to add up to save you thousands of dollars on your home purchase. But it's not all about the money. Lethbridge offers something even the biggest cities can't match, an incredible work-life balance. With a slower pace of life, minimal traffic, and easy access to outdoor activities, the residents find that they're spending less time commuting and just more time enjoying life. This city also has a strong sense of community, and unlike the isolation that many can feel in those bigger cities, Lethbridge offers a warm, welcoming environment where you can actually get to know your neighbors. Now, I know this sounds pretty cheesy, but I always call Lethbridge a big town and a small city, meaning that we have all of the amenities that a big city would have. I mean, most of the amenities that all the big cities would have, but we're also small enough that you still kind of feel like you're in a town. And when you go out to a sporting event or to the movies or to the mall, you're likely going to run into one or two people that you know, which when you're coming from one of those bigger cities, you're kind of always feel isolated. And there is a saying out there that Canada is one of the friendliest places in the world, but it's also one of the hardest places to make a friend. And in Lethbridge, I kind of feel like this city defies that saying. Now let's talk about jobs. So as Lethbridge is expanding, we have new businesses and new industries popping up every year, and the city's been attracting a lot of talent in a bunch of different sectors, from agriculture and renewable energy to healthcare and education, and even a ton of manufacturing and trades are hiring. And there's even the University of Lethbridge and the college that offers even more employment opportunities. So not only can you afford a home in Lethbridge, but you can also find meaningful work. Even further, Lethbridge also has one of the lowest unemployment rates in Alberta. So with affordable housing, lower taxes, a strong job market, and an unbeatable work-life balance, it's no wonder that so many Canadians are calling Lethbridge home. If you're considering a move, Lethbridge is worth a serious look. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like so I know that I'm putting out some kind of content that's valuable to you guys out there. And if you're thinking about making that move to Lethbridge, please leave a comment down below. Of course, if you have any questions about Lethbridge or the market, just drop that comment and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys like this video and want to see more, there's a whole playlist right here. I have about 200 videos on this channel. And if you guys never want to miss another one, just subscribe.